Sahar, welcome back to my channel. I haven't been filming, haven't been motivated to, and there is a video that I've been wanting to do, which is my another relationship timeline video. I already finished it. It was Bow and Glimmer from She-Ra and the Princess of Power. And I finished planning it. I watched it because I knew it was going off the air, and I decided to do this video because was an idea I wanted to do for a while. So as I was rewatching it for one final time before they took it off Netflix, I did the notes. But that takes too much energy because I love these videos, but they can be a hassle to film and edit and stuff. I don't want to do that right now. I will eventually film it. I have it all planned out. I just need to, film, edit, and upload. But I didn't want to get a video out. So I was looking through my notes because my Samsung notes, I have so many different videos, ideas planned, and other things. And I found some videos that I have been wanting to do but haven't fully finished planning them on the notes, or videos I have finished planning, I just haven't actually filmed yet. And some of these have probably been in my notes forever. So I was like, I'm going to find a quick idea that won't take too long to film, just to put something out there until I get the motivation to film the really long video. But that video is it's not like a top 10, but it's like non-canon ships in Monster High. I'm just going to talk about them. If they are popular ships, if I personally ship them, and if I think there is a possibility that they could ever happen. So yeah. So I heard about this one, and I'm not sure if they ever interacted, to be honest. But that's Jane Boolittle and Andy from I don't remember his last name, or if they gave him last name, but it's from School Shores. He was the monster that could go really big, the purple guy, and I feel like because they're both jungle is why they became a popular ship, and I'm not always on board of shipping two characters that never even so much as interacted just because they have something similar like that. Like, I know that back in the day there were people that shipped Jack Frost and Elsa faithfully, and I never understood it. Like, it literally just came around because they both had ice powers, and I feel like I need more than that for a basis. If you think I could get behind shipping two characters that never even interacted if that's the way you want to go. Typically, I don't. I need at least a tiny interaction, and because there's only one ship I can really think of from Ever After High that I ship, even though they only had one little interaction, but it made me ship them. But usually, I need more than that too. But if you want to ship characters that never even so much interacted, you just think they'd be good together for whatever reason, fine. But I guess I just don't get it if the only reason why they're even being shipped is because of something so superficial as the fact that they both have ice powers. There's plenty of characters that have ice powers that you could pair them with in that case. I mean, Abby Abominable, for instance, Killer Frost, Frozone. I know there's more. Those are the ones that come to mind off the top of my head. But yeah. So I went off topic a little bit. So shipping Jane, if you want Jane and Andy just because you think their personalities could make a good match, but to ship them just because they're both from the jungle seems like a bit of a stretch. Doesn't mean they'd be a good couple. Just like Elsa and Jack. So I'm not sure if I ship Jane and Andy. Like, they both, you don't see either one of them all that much. Andy, I think, was really only in Skull Shores. You might have seen him like in the background of the other Monster High movies, but I think Skull Shores was the only one where you actually had anything to do with his character. And Jane Boolittle was in a few of the webisodes, but all the webisodes were really just a few minutes. So putting them all together is probably around the same amount of screen time that Andy had. So yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of any more bases that could make them a good couple. I mean, Andy hates how people see him as this big monster. He thought he was this big monster. Jane is terribly shy and can talk to animals. But I'm not sure I've seen much of a relationship. I mean, I could get behind a friendship. I think they'd be friends, but I don't know. Let me know if you ship them. I also have, so this one, funny story. I just said when I was whole thing where I'm not big on shipping characters that had, limited interactions. But this is a ship I actually came up with. I was bored, and this was back in my fanfiction days before I really started writing actual books. I started off with fanfiction. I don't know how many writers do that, but I did. I was big on Wattpad. I did so many different fanfictions that are still available on Wattpad, by the way. And I did one that was called Once Upon a Monster, which I also did an Ever After Time version called Once Upon a Ever After. And basically, it was similar to the whole Once Upon a Time format, where they are cursed into our world with fake identities, and so and there would be flashbacks of them in their world and stuff like that. So that kind of format. And I don't remember when it happened, but at some point in one of the books, I was bored and I was like, okay, I need to make it unexpected. I don't remember where my mindset was. This would have been pre-high school probably. This would probably have been middle school, okay? Maybe early high school latest. And so I don't know where my mindset was, but at some point I paired Bonita and Skeleta together as a couple. And I haven't even so much as looked at these books in a long time to even read and be like, whatever. And so I don't even remember like what I did with them with their characters. I don't I know I'm pretty sure they weren't together at the very beginning of the series. I'm pretty sure because I got so much as up to book 7, I think, and I think I never finished book 7 as well, by the way. And then Once Upon a Ever After, I think I got up to book 5, and once again didn't actually finish it. So I don't even remember really what I did with their relationship and stuff, but because I had created my own relationship with the two of them, it made me actually ship them, even though they never interacted. But I guess I shipped what I wrote from them because I thought that it made them a cute couple. But so I shipped what I wrote with the two of them, but when I actually shipped them their characters on Monster High, I don't know, because once again, it's not like they ever interacted. They both, Skeleta, I think, was in at least, there's only one webisode I can think of that she was really in, and that's the one that had to do with her heritage. And then she was in the, what is it called? Scare City of Frights movie. And then there's Bonita, who was in the Freaky Fusion movie. And I do think they could have an interesting dynamic just because, like, I feel like Bonita is jittery and Skeleta is very family oriented, and I think the two of them could blend together. And I think Bonita's a good listener and very kind and sweet, and she would listen to Skeleta talk about her heritage and her culture. And I think Skeleta could calm Bonita down a bit from her jitteriness, and I think because they both come from such different worlds, like obviously Skeleta is Mexican, but also a skeleton, and then Bonita is actually part moth and part skeleton. They could kind of bond over their skeleton part, and then Bonita could share her moth side with Skeleta, just like Skeleta can share her culture with Bonita, and I think it could actually work. I think, I don't, like I said, I wrote that forever ago, and I don't even remember what made me put the two of them together, because that was forever ago. But it made me like them, and now I low-key ship them, even though they never actually interacted. So you know, I created my own ship. I don't know if anyone ever thought of them as a ship, but now it's out there. If you want to read that series, just so you know, this was before I perfected my writing style, so it's probably a little not great in the writing portion, but the story I thought was interesting. At least I did. So if you guys want to check that out, by all means, it's on Wattpad. I never did finish it, and I have considered going back and finishing some of my fan fictions, but I don't know if I'm ever actually going to. So it may remain unfinished, but I have up to like the middle of book 7 out there. This one is Draculaura and Kiyomi from which one? Haunted is the movies from, and another one that. So this one is a little confusing about whether or not they're actually canon, because there's a lot of people that say this ship is canon, but I don't consider them canon because even if they never get together, they had canon feelings, or even if just one of them had canon feelings for the other. it makes me wonder, like, is it canon or non-canon? Because if there are canon feelings involved, whether they get together or not is irrelevant, right? At least that's the way I see it. But I don't know if that's how other people see it. Because I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, this ship is non-canon," but I love them, and I'm just like, I never considered them non-canon because weren't there feelings at one point? I can't think of any ships off the top of my head, but I remember having those thoughts before. So I really don't know if I consider them canon or non-canon because even though it's I don't think it was mentioned necessarily in the movie, but the director did confirm that Kiyomi had canon feelings for Draculaura. It was obviously one-sided because Draculaura is madly in love with Claude. Um, but Kiyomi did obviously she so the whole point was that she would make portals into the monster what do they call it, solids, in the solid world, because she was fascinated by Monster High and the friend groups and the people, and even though it was illegal to do that, she was fascinated by them, and she was watching, and at some point, she saw Draculaura and decided that I like you, I'm going to start haunting you in a friendly way. Like, she did her hair, this and that. So it wasn't anything purposely to, like, mess with her and think she just wanted to be around Draculaura. And then when they finally meet, Draculaura kind of thought she seemed familiar. And Kiyomi would, like, her face, she's known as a faceless monster. So, she would get her entire form would just glow her emotions. So you always knew what she was feeling. And every time she was around Draculaura, she would get all pink, showing crush. So yeah. And Draculaura, even though she obviously didn't have feelings for Kiyomi, she did care about Kiyomi. Like, when Kiyomi told everyone to go so that she can try to form a portal to get everyone, to get the ghost attacking Monster High back to the ghost world, she was going to do it by herself. And she told everyone to go, said that this was her fault for opening the portal in the first place. And Draculaura was like, "No, we can't leave her. We have to help her." And they're like, "But we've never made a portal before." She's like, "But we have to try. We can't just leave her." And I just thought that. But then again, these schools do care about other people quite often. Like, they're not just gonna leave anyone, really. But the fact that it was Draculaura that said it showed that she had care for Kiyomi. Even if it wasn't a romantic kind of care, she did care for Kiyomi. Um, and then, so this one is another one that whether or not it's actually non-canon in G1, because it's canon in G3, whether or not it's canon in G1 is a whole other thing, which is Abby and Heath. They're canon in G3, which I love G3. I'm not gonna tolerate any G3 hates on this page. Thank you. Just throwing that out there because I might add some G3 non-canon ships afterwards. Love live action movies. Love the animated series. But anyways, moving on. But they did have this like flirting thing, and there was that one webisode where Abby was doing this whole there to get a date for this dance and this speed dating thing, I think it was, and he kept trying to get in line, and the ghouls who were in charge of it kept being like, "No, we need people who take this seriously." But then Heath finally snuck in, and Abby ended up choosing Heath because, as she explained, he makes her laugh. And so there is that. Then there was the scene in Scarcity of Frights when Heath, Claude, and Deuce show up, and then Draculaura had missed Claude, Cleo had missed Deuce, and then Heath was like, "Did anybody miss me?" And Abby was like, "I did, a little bit." And Heath goes over to her and starts trying to flex muscles that he doesn't have because it's Heath. But, so it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, they never canonically got together in G1, but there were feelings. So is it canon or is it not? Is the question. But you could tell there was something. There was a flirtatious thing. Abby, a lot of people got annoyed with Heath, but Abby thought he was charming and funny, and Heath was very much interested in Abby from the very first time he met her, I believe, if I remember correctly. In the website where Abby first shows up at the school, he has this whole thing for her, and she kind of turns him into ice. So yeah. And so I always shipped them, but even back in G1, and I was so happy that G3 finally made the canon. One thing that annoyed me was after in like the second half of Scarcity of Frights, he started going after Jetafire, and then even during which is one thing because he was a flirt, and if him and Abby weren't officially together, fine. But then in Freaky Fusion, no, sorry, wrong movie. What's it called? Boo York, the musical one, when Caddy is singing her song "Search Inside," and she goes outside because she's talking about wanting that kind of love story that she writes about and hasn't actually yet experienced. And she goes outside, and you see a whole bunch of couples dancing on the floor. And they paired Heath with Jennifer. And it's one of those things again where there's no basis for the relationship, but the fact that they both manipulate fire. That's literally the only basis of the relationship. Heath and Abby had an interesting relationship, not just because I do like the idea of fire and ice, but that's not why I shipped them. Their relationship was so much more. Like, I just talked about a couple of things about Heath and Abby's relationship, but their relationship was so much more than fire and ice. But with Heath and Jennifer, Lily was just fire and fire. And it's like, there was no more basis to relationship, so what was the point of pairing them together? Other than they're both fire. So, I don't know. Because after that, after Scarcity of Frights, I don't even think there's any more Heath or Abby content in G1. So yeah, so I was so happy that GT finally paired them together because I'm like, it's been long overdue. And then I have, so this one is what I actually really, really ship, okay? Like, I'm talking about these ships and whether or not I actually ship them. I mean, Heath, I do actually really ship, but this one I do too, and that's Twyla and Howleen, okay? You really mostly only see them in, what's it called? 13 Wishes. So many movies and so many names. But they have little things beyond that. I used to own, I don't own it anymore, unfortunately, but I had Twyla's doll at one point, including her diary. And I loved reading some of those entries because she was learning about how shy and how she had no one, and how when she met Howleen and she started going to sleepovers and they started doing this and that, it was really sweet showing how their relationship really started. And it was really sweet reading some of those entries. And I love their relationship, how Twyla didn't care about being popular and she was able to bring Howleen down a bit, and how even though Twyla was in the shadows and she was shy and quiet, Howleen, who was, well, she's a wolf and all the wolves can be a little eccentric, just look at Claudine and Claude and Claudia. So I feel like it was a nice balance and they had a nice friendship, but I actually did ship them as well because I also love at the end when Howleen was like, or Twyla was like, you want to stay for this party, or you want to go over there? I don't remember how she phrased it. Howleen was like, nah, all I really need is you. And I just thought that was really sweet. Um, the last one from G1 that I'll be mentioning is Rebecca and Sai, which is actually from the book Monster High Girlfriends, which is one of my favorite books ever. I absolutely love this series. I've reread it countless of times, and I think there might be only one other book that I can say, or two other books that I can say without a shadow of doubt that I probably know them by heart, cover to cover. I mean, maybe not by heart, obviously, but like I know them that well, and this is one of them. And I absolutely love their dynamic. Like, this one is another one where, like, were they really canon? Because Sai did have canonic I can't speak. Canon feelings for Rebecca. He saw her, thought she was so sweet, innocent, and kind of like watched her in a non-creepy way, because I know that sounds kind of creepy, but he was always kind of around because he really liked her, and he was always ready to protect her, and he was always ready to be there for all three of the girls, schools, to be honest. But especially with Rebecca, the two of them were always paired together, and she was also really sweet to him. Like, he was a shy boy, but she was always really kind to him, and I always thought she had feelings for him. I just don't think she realizes it. But it's just reading about them, like, I definitely ship them, and I wish that Sai could have been in the show because I would have loved to see them on screen as well. Now on to G3. I think there's only two ships I can really think of that I ship. So in G1, I ship Draculaura with Claude. for anyone who wanted to know. 100%. In G2, I don't like G2. In G3, I shipped, there's two different versions of G3. There's live action movies and the anime series. Both have the same premise, with Draculaura being a vampire who practices witchcraft even though it's forbidden, and Claudine being part human, part wolf, and trying to get into the school. But they both have different storylines. In the movies, there's a different way how everyone found out the truth in the series. And so even though they have the same premise, they're two different storylines and two different universes in a way. So in G3, I actually shipped Draculaura and Claudine. There, I said it. There was just something about them, and the way, like, Draculaura was, like, put offish at first because she didn't know who she could trust because she was keeping a huge secret that monsters are not allowed, which is the fact that she practices witchcraft. So she was trying to keep that secret from everyone, especially her father. And Claudine obviously had a huge secret as well, which is the fact that she's part human, and if that just gets discovered, people will also have fit. So they end up bonding over their mutual secrets, and they end up forming a really tight friendship. Obviously, it wasn't just the two of them; it was the three of them because it was Frankie as well. But I just love how they bonded over that and how they were there for each other. Claudine defended Draculaura, Draculaura defended Claudine, and they were there for each other in a really cool sense. I also love how in the second movie, Claudine risked everything, including her life, to save Draculaura. And then Draculaura goes off, and I love how Claudine. I love one of my favorite songs is the song that Frankie joins in the song, but starts off with Draculaura Claudine about how they don't that this could be the end because if Draculaura left school, she wouldn't be able to come back, but she had a chance to save monster witch relations, and she had to take it. And Claudine's huge speech about her friend was so sweet during her student council meeting, or student council election or whatever, and it was just really sweet. But in this series, I should Draculaura and Laguna, who also had a really sweet relationship. It was also kind of a similar thing where they both had this secret. Obviously, Draculaura's was actually a lot bigger than Laguna's in this instance, but she was hiding the fact that she was a witch still in this version as well. And Laguna was hiding the fact that she has this stuffed animal of a fish that she sleeps with, but she's also known as the fiercest, scariest monster at the school, and if anyone found out, that could ruin her reputation. And she was helping Toralei, who was out to show everyone that Draculaura was a witch, because Toralei knew her secret and was threatening to expose her. And the two of them end up really connecting, and Draculaura was ready to tell everyone the truth to save Laguna's reputation, and Laguna was willing to risk her reputation to make sure nobody found out the truth about Draculaura. And there were other scenes. That episode's one of my favorites because that was all one episode. But I also, this is like, what was it, a sleepover, I think, or something like that, and they were going to play a game where they had to pair up in teams or something. I don't remember the premise. I'm currently rewatching the show. I'm not that far in. I'm actually on the episode I was just talking about. But Laguna picks Draculaura up. She's like, I picked Draculaura, and I don't know why I found that so cute, but I did. So yeah. But yeah, so those are non-canon ships. Whether I ship them or not, let me know if you ship any of these, if you think any of these would be a good couple, and I will chat with you guys below in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later.